Hi everyone, my name is Sydney Rich, and I am making a video response to our ARA 489 Module 2 Museum Controversy discussion. And we're talking about neutrality and museums as institutions. And particularly if you agree or do not agree with the idea that museums are not neutral. And I do agree that museums are not neutral. I think that every museum has a specific audience that they're trying to reach, just like a business, and that they have to do that in the best way that they think possible, and sometimes they do miss the mark. Clearly, as we've seen with the Whitney Biennial and Dana Schutz's open casket piece that we've been reading about. I think that in this particular incident, Whitney Biennial was aiming to be inclusive to the Black community without actually including the Black community, which I think is definitely something that we've seen heavily in the art community in general. We like to be inclusive, but that doesn't always mean that you are going straight out to the source themselves. Which in this case would have been reaching out to a Black artist. If they had had one person of color, but specifically Black person on their art curating team, they most likely would have not put that piece into the exhibit, or should not have, as it doesn't properly display what the Black community's plight is, because it's through the lens of a white woman's eyes. And I do agree with what Parker Bright was saying in that Dana Schutz is more than welcome to feel a connection to what happened to Emmett Till as a mother, as she claims is the reason why she made the painting. However, she is not Black and her child is not Black, and therefore she can never feel or truly understand the emotions or the plight that goes into what happens to the Black community on a daily basis. And on a more personal note, I have definitely seen museums near me, at least, not be neutral on a regular basis. The Phoenix Art Museum, as one of the largest museums, I believe, on the West Coast, they do have quite a bit of a responsibility to represent the community here in Arizona and the hodgepodge of like melting pot of downtown Phoenix where it's located. And most recently they did have an exhibit that was a collection of photographs by, I believe, Mexican immigrants, and they were direct photographs of Oaxaca and Mazatlan and various places within Mexico that have been experiencing a lot of violence that has been prominent in the news a lot lately, as anybody that would be paying attention to that would know. And numerous times they've done similar things like that, but that's museums as an institution. I do believe that galleries and more specified, smaller exhibits definitely is where it gets more touchy, but that's because they are exhibits and they're small galleries, and they're, I feel like, more allowed to do that. I do feel like museums should try to appease their audience in the best way possible, not necessarily from a neutral sense. I don't think that they have to be. I think that it's okay to make a political statement as long as it's being socially, culturally, and racially sensitive to the groups that they're trying to properly reflect and represent. Which I think, like I said, with the Phoenix Art Museum, taking those photographs directly from a Hispanic photographer is appropriate. If it was taken by a white man here in the United States, I don't think it would nearly have the same impact, which I think is definitely why people were so mad about a white woman in New York creating a painting based off of Emmett Till's imagery, which clearly his photograph is much more powerful than any representation through a painting could ever be, let alone a painting created by a white woman. But that is my take on the fact that museums are not neutral, and they don't necessarily have to be. They just have to be more careful about how they represent that lack of neutrality. Thank you.